Hello there, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Juan on Juan. Today, we're going to be going through a couple of my notes for number 5. This is the fifth week of the NFL, and let's just dive right into it. I wanted to talk about a little bit about Jalen Ramsey, and what's kind of going on over there in Jacksonville. Very interesting. It's basically started off with a tirade or a little argument with Coach Doug Marone. Him and Ramsey had to be separated. I believe it was week 2. It was the week before their Thursday night game. And the very next day or very next week, Ramsey came out and just spoke about how respect had been lost, and once respect was lost, that it's just better for both parties to just move apart. He hasn't showed up for work since it started with a back issue. Then it was a issue of his kid being born, so he stayed in, obviously, to be with the mother. Just very interesting that he still has yet to show up because of said back issue. So he's still going to see specialists and things of that nature. Not sure what that holdup is. If anything, it just screams more of he just doesn't want to be back with the team. And eventually, you would assume that the team would get the drift, get the idea, and just move on. They've gotten multiple teams saying that they're offering them two first round picks. I've heard what the hesitation is that they're asking for Ramsey and then a second rounder back. I don't think they would want to do that. I feel like they're probably waiting for a team to come in and just shock them and wow them with a Laramie Tunsil offer. I don't see why a team wouldn't go. I mean, a team like Baltimore, a team like Philadelphia, a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, you go out there and you get an elite shutdown, like forget half of the field type of corner, that makes a huge difference. Mahomes looks like he needs some help. Lamar looks like he needs some help. There's a couple teams that I could see Ramsey coming in and really just taking over. And he's a shutdown player. He's proved it time and again. He's definitely somebody who just wants to get paid. He did the whole show this offseason coming in with the Brinks truck. Cute, I guess. And I think it's time you either pay him or trade him. Very interesting. After this past week 5, we ended up seeing a picture, which turns out to be of Mr. Jalen Ramsey. Wasn't with the team to Carolina when they played on Sunday, but he was with Deshaun Watson in Houston, and I think that's his manager. I believe it was, his agent. Sorry. So very, very interesting. Maybe a team like Houston, I don't know how far forward they can trade first round picks, but maybe they can pull something out of their ass. Who knows? Second subject, it's a little bit of an unfortunate one. This is back to, they're just firm. They don't want to trade him, but moving on. Actually, hold on. Before we move on, let's just highlight that game. Jaguars ended up losing 27-34. And I just feel like I want to highlight this game more so, not for the Jaguars, but more so for the Panthers. 3 in a row since Cam has gone down. Christian McCaffrey is looking like the real motherfucking deal. He is just an animal out here in the game, and it's something that he's an MVP candidate. 3 touchdowns, 237 scrimmage yards. Like, him and Fournette actually came out the same year, and I'm gonna try to pull up the tweet that I had, and that draft class that came out with Fournette, with this kid McCaffrey, is truly elite. Look at this. Leonard Fournette 4, McCaffrey 8, Dalvin Cook 41, Mixon 48, Kamara 67, Hunt 86, Connor 105, like Cohen, Mack, Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, even Eckler and Breda, who just had a great game last night. So that was definitely one of the all-time classes, I would say. for any position, but let alone running back. So there's huge shout out to him. And then now we can get to Jay Gruden. This was after the game, so the Redskins and Washington played. They ended up playing the New England Patriots. You would have thought that it was going to be a complete blowout, but they actually led leading into the second quarter, shockingly enough. But this was just after the game. This was Chris Thompson. He was very emotional, breaking down into tears, crying, talking about Gruden, which I understand.
I feel like it was
it's a position. Let's listen.
One of the guys that really believe.
He basically went on to say, I feel like he was one of the guys that really believed in me and wanted me to stay here and be with him through his whole legacy here as a coach. Thompson said, fighting back tears, just going through that practice squad year was really tough for me. It's tough, man. So this was after the game, and when I initially saw this, I'm thinking, wow, okay, so the writing's on the wall. Jay Gruden's definitely going to get fired. I just didn't know how quickly the turnaround was going to be. We're talking about this is like probably they had a 1 o'clock game. This is maybe like 5:30ish p.m., maybe 6 o'clock p.m. And then we get the report that, let me see if I can find it. They told him to come in Monday morning at 5 a.m. to get fired. I don't know a lot of you guys. Maybe he was already up. Maybe it's just his normal routine. But that is rough. Okay, 5 a.m. to come and get fired. Eat. And then it kind of sucks because there's just so much drama in this Jay Gruden situation. The Redskins obviously have not been a team that's been well run. That's the nice way to say it. Trent Williams, Jordan Reed, Trent, like, on and on and on. Just examples of bad management by the team. And then you get reports like this coming out that Jay Gruden didn't want Haskins, and Haskins can sense that. After this, we got we had the Jay Gruden videos. Let me see if I can find it. Of him being drunk or smoking weed. Oh, look, first thing that pop out. We had these come out, which, funny enough, it seems like they're leaks because these are plenty old. You guys can kind of find through that if you want. So it was just a lot of things that were going on, a lot of things that kind of came out, and I think it was just better for all parties to move on. It seems like ownership wants more of a part of the team than they should. It's a tough situation. Unfortunately, it cost somebody their job. You see, the players obviously were bought in. But we'll see what moves forward from here. I love Terry McLaurin. I love that kid. That kid's a baller. I'm hoping they can build around him. I'm hoping him and Haskins has a rapport. But even this new coach that they're getting, Bill Callahan or something like that, he's their offensive line coach, and he's already saying that Haskins is not even an option to start. I've never seen a quarterback being treated like really like he's just like light years behind. Like, there's reports coming out he can't even read plays. He's struggling to ID defenses, which I get, but you're like most of these NFL coaches' job is to go out there and put these players or put these kids in positions to succeed, not to tell others what they can or cannot do. So I don't know. We'll see how that shakes out. Let's move on to a pastime of mine, which I guess has been ever since I've started to follow Skip more and more, which is following the Cowboys, and they got shellacked last week. They got destroyed by Green Bay. The score obviously will tell a different picture, but look at the first quarter splits, look at the second and the third quarter. There was a moment in this game where they ended up being up 31-3. Excuse me. They ended up being 31-3. So that just goes to show you this game was really not close. Dak was off, threw 3 picks in the first half. They tried to make it a game afterwards, but there was just too much Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had a career game, 19 for 107, 4 rushing touchdowns. He had another 7 for 75 catching. I really didn't expect this game script to go this way. I thought Dallas was going to be a better team. Very disappointed in what they put out there, especially this being America's game. or America's team, or whatever you want to call it. Um, so very disappointing. I feel like Green Bay isn't this good. I don't think their offense is this good, but I feel like they've gone into good positions. I feel like their coach Mahorty, whatever his name is, Lafleur, um, he's doing a good job of taking what he has. He obviously didn't have Devontae Adams this game, so they literally just focused on Aaron Jones because Jamal Williams was also out. So very very interesting to see how far they go, what else they can do. Um, Another pastime of mine is talking about the Ravens, just because how much of a fan I've become of uh, Lamar Jackson, and man, it was rough. Lamar really struggled. 3 picks in the first half, 1 TD. Didn't do much afterwards of that. 161 yards passing. He's went 14 for 70 rushing. Um, in this game, I don't know how they pulled it out. I do know how they pulled it out at the end. Um, Funny enough, Juju Smith earlier in the game had scored a touchdown on a play where Marlon Humphrey got beat, coming across the field, and Marlon went for the strip, went for the ball, and Juju just literally just shook him off and walked in for the end zone. Come overtime, the Steelers were actually brave enough to want their defense out on the field first. Lamar didn't do much, punted on the next possession. And this is obviously, I didn't want to get into it, but this is after Mason Rudolph was taken out the game. They're with a third string quarterback at this point because of Big Ben's injury as well, and they went ahead and threw a little crosser again to Juju, um, and this time Marlon made sure to knock the ball out. Went for the strip, got the ball, and they must have ran like another 3 4 plays, and Justin Tucker knocked it in. Like, that's the GOAT. Um, I think the Ravens and the Cowboys are two very similar teams. They're teams where, if they're following game script like what they're designed for, are gonna be elite teams. Baltimore's averaging 29 points a game. Dak was having an all time great season before 2 games. The last 2 games that just passed. I just think they're teams that need to be put in positions to succeed. If they get negative game scripts like they did, like the Ravens did against the Chiefs, or how the Ravens struggled against the Steelers because of the picks, they are gonna be teams that are gonna struggle to come back from behind. Um, Not sure what that really is gonna entail. I don't know how far they'll be able to go. I know the Ravens are dealing with a lot of injuries, especially on both sides of the ball. Actually, um, Jimmy Smith hasn't really played at all. Mark Andrews hasn't been healthy. Uh, Even Marquise Brown, he had to come out for a couple plays last game too. So, just something to keep an eye on. It's a long season, so we'll see where things end up. But Lamar and Dak were MVP candidates. In the last 2 weeks, it's kind of turned back to being Russell 1, Mahomes 2, and then McCaffrey 3. So we'll see. And then the final thing I want to close off with is Mason Rudolph and his unfortunate injury. I'm gonna play the video just so you guys can kind of get an idea of what happened. But it was rough. It was definitely an injury that it's hard to prevent. I don't really see what anybody in the position would have been able to do differently. But it sucks to see him like this. It sucks. Let me see if I can fast forward. Oh, they're showing stills. They're not showing like the actual video. And you can even see Juju was so distraught. Like, he broke down in tears. Could not even really talk. I think I found it. Here we go. And they're obviously talking about Juju and how he was just distraught. Well, I guess they're not going to show the video. Let me see. Let me try this one. And this is another thing that came out. The cart ended up not working, so they couldn't even cart the young man out. They had to literally, I guess, wait for him to wake up because he was out. Had to wait for him to wake up to be able to basically get him off the field. which for a $7 billion business, which is the NFL, seems really fucking ridiculous that he had to walk himself after a concussion. I was looking at some videos and people were really upset because they said that he could have really been basically dead. He could have had like a spinal contusion, I think I was reading, and something else with the medical. So to risk it like that, childish to say the
Watch
least.
this, guys, okay? So you got car coming in from behind, and the guy in front of him just completely levels him.
He's out. Look,
You can
his
see he
hands
automatically goes limp,
out.
and then he just watch his face. Ready? Gets hit. Boom!
Look,
Immediately
eyes
concussed.
closed.
No question in my mind. If he wasn't,
I thought he was dead. I don't even mean that to be funny. I genuinely thought that Mason Rudolph had died on the field. I was so concerned with the young man. And that's basically what we're gonna close out with today, guys. Thank you guys for listening. I'm really loving these things. I'm doing them once a week. Trying to do them, like I said, on Tuesdays. And if you have any comments, concerns, or any criticism that you would like to share, please feel free. I'm more than willing to listen to. Peace.